having a focus on the present moment, really engaging with it and not having a judgmental perspective.
Accepting that moment and having a way of living that moment.
Learning to appreciate life, learning to appreciate what you have right now.
It's a practice about living well in your own circumstances as a person in your own body.
Learning to stop, slow down, rather than always being busy, always focusing on what you're going to do later.
Recognising the capabilities that you have, recognising how things happen in yourself, and becoming more capable and more confident and skillful in doing that.
Which sounds simple, it's very hard, and it has profound change potential.
Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy is a 8-week program, usually delivered in a group, that uses mindfulness meditation practices and also draws on cognitive therapy exercises and some poetry and some education about depression or stress.
It was just suggested to me that it would be helpful for me, and I didn't kind of know very much about it.
Being offered MBCT was after I was signed off sick for several months by a psychiatrist. I'd had CBT, other therapies, I was taking antidepressant medication, nothing was much helping.
At that time in my life, I had a sense that there was a kind of wisdom and resourcefulness in my own self that I really needed to learn to develop.
MBCT was originally developed for people who experience repeated episodes of depression. Early research showed that it reduced the chances of people going back to being depressed by about 50%. Subsequently, there's been loads of research around the use of mindfulness, and we found that it's often helpful for people who may be currently depressed and people with certain kinds of anxiety. It's particularly helpful for people who may be quite self-critical in the way that they think about themselves, or maybe people who ruminate a lot, who chew over things that have happened to them in a way that they find unhelpful.
So first impressions were quirky, different way of doing things.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I knew it was going to be in a group, and I thought it would be like group discussing. Everybody would be sitting around discussing things.
It's not talk therapy. It's not about telling certain kinds of stories to yourself or to the therapist.
I can't emphasize enough how important it is to do this in a group, first of all, because you suddenly start to discover you're not the only one with a sense of worthlessness, uselessness, loneliness. And as soon as the first person says something about it, the masks fall. It's like, wow, there are other people who have very similar experiences as human beings, and we can relax.
So I was surviving, but I wasn't living. And what mindfulness did for me was to help me begin to live again. So I became a different person.
By focusing in, turning towards the difficult memories, emotions, thoughts, somehow through that focus they start losing their power and their frightfulness. They're like clouds in the sky, they move over time, they change, and you learn to have trust that that change will happen.
I love that different way of looking at things. It was a surprise to me.
I call it the snail's paradox, because the more I slowed down to focus on the detail of those actions, something really weird happened. The whole process became faster and more efficient. So it was as if you got quicker and closer to your goal through slowing right down.
It's really been a long-term process for me. The further away I've got from the course, the more beneficial it's become. The benefits just grow and grow and grow. And yeah, it's been life-changing and really transformative for me.
It was equipping me to live life in my own terms, in my own time, with my own resources.
I really felt a cage was opening.
I do my job better. I have more empathy. I understand myself better.
I started a new life, if you like, with very many new activities. And so I feel the challenge, however hard it was really worth the outcome.
I can't think of a single area of my life, including my health, well-being, physical, mental, that mindfulness hasn't improved.
I look forward to meeting new people and to meeting new situations. It's extremely freeing.
I used to be a very negative person, and now I think I irritate people with how positive I am about life.
For anybody considering joining a mindfulness course, my advice would be try it. I mean, just be open to the experience and see whether it can do something for you. Don't be not skeptical, but just be open. You may be surprised.
But be prepared to practice. Yeah, it's not about having some ideas, it's about doing something.
There are still things I don't want to do. There are still things I feel fear about. But the breathing, the whole attitude of living in the moment has made my life incredibly richer.
Mindfulness can have a really transformative effect on people's lives. If you are a service user or a staff member in Sussex Partnership, you'll find some information about mindfulness-based cognitive therapy groups on the Sussex Mindfulness Centre website.